Hey guys, have you ever lost someone in your family that meant a lot to you? Ever wondered how to deal with it? I'll tell you what, we'll tell you how we dealt with it. Hopefully it helps. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny. This is Dave, and this is the Tell You What podcast. So today we're going to be a little more serious just for this episode. Talk about loss of family members. We talked about loss of pets, and this one's touch a little more closer to home. So of all the things that changed and what we did last year, I lost my dad.
Oh man!
After quite a few years, he wasn't well. So my dad lived a big life. I mean, I don't want to say he like partied hard or anything, but no, he was an amateur drag racer and would just get in fights for something to do.
Sounds like my kind of guy,
right? And then would drink, just drink like a fish. Didn't really think about living past like 40 years old, really. But had me when I was so he was born in 45. Mm-hmm. So can we do the math? I don't know. Was that 70? 73? I don't know. Anyhow.
Well, 45, so 85, that's 40, right?
Yeah.
95, 50, 60, 73.
Yeah, 73. So my dad passed away at 73. But he,
dumb.
I said, yeah, it's our math genius. That's why we're doing this, all right?
I do electronic stuff. I don't do the math.
Great. God. Damn.
I never claimed to be the smart one here.
It's not like we've got a calculator or anything in front of us. We couldn't have done that. But anyhow.
Oh, I guess we kind of.
Yeah, whatever. We're only sitting in front of an iMac and an iPhone. I got my phone over here somewhere. So
we got
plenty of resources. There you go. Utilize them. Great. Awful.
Anyway.
Anyhow, we're getting back. This is us. Yeah. So
real.
Yeah. This actually is going to make it into production. It's great.
Yeah.
So I got the phone call one night. So he lived in Central California in Lodi. Yeah. I live here in Reno, and I got a phone call from his wife that said, hey, he went to dialysis, this was really like, this place was morbid to begin with. So my dad was on dialysis like 3 or 4 times a week for years. And apparently I didn't know this until people explained this to me, that apparently if you're on dialysis, that's not something you can live with a long period of time. Mm-hmm. But I think, hell, he was on that for 5 or more years. And then he was 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 times. He always called it his part-time job, Yeah, he was retired. And I went and sat with him. I think I actually only made it down there to sit with him once. And it was kind of depressing, but my father being basically, a version of me.
Sure.
He knew everybody. He knew the nurses. He knew when they left. He knew when they, what they liked. So he talked to everybody. This was like his social club. And I was like, I think I bought him a set of headphones. Maybe he could watch some TV or something, or movie, And had I known this, I probably would have taught him how to use a Kindle or an iPad or something. Just watch a movie and just kind of catch up on something. Because that's what I'd want to know if I was just sitting there hooked up to this damn machine for 2 hours or whatever. So yeah, so like I said, his kidneys had basically shut down and he wasn't moving hot. I mean, it was hard for him he had 2 steps up in the garage, kind of like here. He couldn't really make it up into the house in the garage anymore, and it was a hard time because when we go to see him, so my dad was super handy, super great builder of stuff. I mean, case in point, he built out of no plans whatsoever. I had this fort when I was growing up. It was a literal fort. It was a square of railroad ties. It was a sandbox, and it had the pillars going up. And then there was a cover on it that was a cover for the sandbox. And then it went up and even more and had lattice all around it and a lookout platform. I wanted some shade, but whatever, we never got to that. But that was great because he built that, again, from nothing. That was my play structure for years.
Oh, wow.
And for years until it just finally fell apart 20 some odd years later. from pressure treated lumber, and I got kind of sketchy to go up, but it was awesome. And I had the stairs, and I'd climb up, and it was great. I could see out. It was so cool. And then him and my mom, there was this nursery that was closing down, and they had this beat up gazebo, and like just falling apart. And they say, "Hey, come get it." So he took it, got all the pieces, traced them out of new wood, like these deteriorated pieces, and built. Mind you, this was beat up, torn apart, put in the back of a pickup, taken piece by piece, traced and put back together.
Okay.
And it was a full functioning, it was neat. It was, again, same thing in our backyard for years. For those of you that can do that for your life, that's not a big deal. Yeah,
That'd
good for you, right?
For me,
yeah,
I can barely fix a damn fence.
Right? Yeah, I can't do anything. I built some crooked ass shelves in my garage
I
once.
build a car.
Yeah, that's pretty. We're gonna touch on that too.
Anyway,
so speaking of people passing away, apparently enough people in your family passed away, so you got the car, huh?
Yeah, enough. That's the joke of the family is enough people died for me to be able to buy that car, and no one, and the people that were left living and breathing didn't want anything to do with it.
That's interesting,
in a sense.
So
anyway,
yeah. So going back to that, I got the phone call one night, and his wife is like, "Hey, do you he checked him basically." So the dialysis place, this is messed up. The dialysis place is here. Across the street here is the hospital, and I shit you not. Tell you what, the cemetery is here.
Oh, geez.
This. And you wonder why I didn't want to go down there. You wonder why I didn't like going there. It's horrible.
Sounds bad.
It was just this is like, who the hell did this? Who planned this out? I kid you not. Like, if you're in like the hospital, we have a view. Like the hospitals here, you can like see the mountains, or maybe you see maybe you see the parking garage or something. Okay, or whatever. No. This place, you see the cemetery, is horrible.
Well, I mean, maybe it was designed by somebody that had a problem with efficiency.
Yeah, maybe just efficiency. Maybe we just want to make this,
Well, it's Lodi. I mean, maybe they were thinking if the ambulance broke down, they could just push the person across the street.
It was even worse with Stockton.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so... it's just... Yeah, I was like...
Just kidding.
So, yeah, so he went... Yeah, so I'm pretty sure my dad was cremated, but I didn't even know. I didn't really know my dad's final wishes. I didn't know anything. So I got the phone call from his wife late one night, and she said, "Hey, do you, just... what do you want?" He's on like this whole, they're like starting like breathing, or no, not breathing, like cooling treatments to like cool him down. His temperature's really rising, this and that. And I'm like, what are his wishes? I mean, you've been a part of his life. He was married to her with her for almost 20 years. My parents split up when I was 13. So in irony or really weirdness, she was a part of his life longer than I was.
Sure.
Which is really weird and really trippy, but it is what it is. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm not going to go and rush down there.
Right.
I mean, I have kids to take care of. I've been up all day, that's not safe for me to go and run, 3 hours away. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
So there's nothing I do with it anyhow. So I called the next morning. She's like, "No, sorry to make it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry. What do you, give me a call on what you want to do?" And then it was really weird because she didn't really respond to me after that. Sent her an email, didn't really respond to that. So then I had a trip planned the next weekend, and I went down there and messaged her and said, "Hey, what's happening? What's going on?" "Oh no, now's not a good time."
What?
Yeah, right. So my dad passed away, like say on like it was like a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. That weekend, I'm like, no, I'm not. Pardon me. That weekend, I'm not going down for whatever reason, because they still had to get everything in order and whatnot. The following week, there was a like get together for his friends or some celebration of life, and I went, I don't know any of these people. I didn't really know my dad's friends. They didn't hang out. I was just like, I felt if I went to that, I'd be just basically just like put on display.
Sure, yeah.
"Oh, you look like your father," etc. I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "I don't even know who the hell you are."
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily want to go to that, so I didn't. And then in the next week, I had a trip planned down there anyhow, so I went and I was like, "Hey, just checking in." I checked in with her, and she's like, "No, now's not a good time." I went, Oh, okay. Maybe I actually got my timeline confused. Maybe those were switched. I think I went on the week before, and then this whole thing was like the week after.
Oh, I think
That
you
was
mentioned
it.
it to me before.
Yeah. And then I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
So my dad was he was a heavy line mechanic. He was a heavy line
Mhm.
technician. He was a diesel mechanic. And
Did
also,
you say
you know,
diesel mechanic?
he was a diesel mechanic.
Okay.
He was a diesel, yeah, diesel
Decent
tech.
or diesel?
Diesel.
Diesel. Okay.
Yeah, rattle knock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Knock, 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 knock. Oh no, it's supposed to sound like that.
It sounds like that. What?
You truck smoking? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
It's supposed to sound like that. So he was really good. He worked for Standard Oil, worked for Chevron, and so he's got hit a lot of big tools and a lot of stuff. And I don't know what happened to any of it. As far as I know, it's all sitting down there still. Again, because I haven't really talked to his wife at the at the time, and so I was like, well, okay, whatever. So I just kind of dealt with that, and it was really weird that no one really else in my family. So my dad was one of 12.
Mm-hmm.
Had one brother, had 10 sisters. 8 of them, I think, are still alive, and his brothers know really well. But I didn't get a phone call from anybody.
But I mean, it sounds like, did people knew that you existed other than your dad?
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah, people, like I said, they were all really close, but I think my dad had some sort of spat with like all his sisters or some business that like they didn't attend my wedding like years ago. And I'm like, I don't care. That's not your battle, Dad. That's cool. I appreciate it and all, but I don't. So I invited a bunch of them and they didn't come. I was like, well, whatever. I don't give a shit. It really didn't bother me. Less people I have to feed. And
yeah,
but that hit him hard. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't know why. It was so weird. And like I said, one of my aunts came because, well, she was here.
sure.
And I think we basically just picked her up. And that was, it's like, we basically have to pass your house to get to where we're going anyhow. So, hey, get your ass in the car.
Get in the car.
Yeah. But then, like, even my mom just, hey, sorry about that. It was really weird. And then she's like, oh, hey, by the way, can you come help me do some stuff? And I'm like, really, Mom? So I actually had a really good family friend who our youngest daughter is named after. She actually, when I finally came back to work, I took about a week off, and I finally came back to work. And she actually did the whole thing that, in my mind, I think a parent or a mother should have done and gone, hey, it's okay if you just need to just cry and vent or do whatever it is you need to do. That's okay. And came and sat down in front of my desk in my office, and we talked. We had a conversation, and then we had a couple other times, and then she came and saw me again. And it was like, and I was just like, that level of like caring and compassion was really, I didn't have that. And
is that what you needed, do you think?
I don't really know. I don't, because I've never experienced that in my family, that level of grief, compassion, folks from what I can tell are just pretty dry, and it is what it is, but that's, I don't know. It's just kind of like an unspoken rule with growing up with my mom, my sister, my brother. It's like, you just, you fix your problems. You just handle your shit.
Don't run from them. Just fix them.
Yeah, just
right.
We're not going to talk about it. We're just no. There's no time for addiction or grieving or you just
Sure.
Like I said. And that's another thing I don't understand. My wife doesn't. I don't understand addiction whatsoever. I have no comprehension of it. I try, and I didn't think it was a thing because it was like that. Hey, I've got this problem, and it was no, you don't. Fix it. That was always so. With this family friend coming to see me, I think I really I don't know if I needed it to answer your question, but I'm glad it was there, and I'm glad it was presented.
Yeah.
To me and available. I think it actually helped. So, and at this point, I don't know. Again, I don't know what my father's final wishes were. I don't have any of his ashes. I don't have any of his tools, any of his stuff. I've never gone down there to get it. And again, at the end, I kept telling him and his wife, I was like, it's because he had a bunch of tools. He had 3 or 4 filled toolboxes.
Well, he's a diesel tech. He's got to have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he just had stuff for days. And then a shed, and he had small equipment, this and that. And there's a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, it was stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's just, and I would, more likely I would have, because I'm more into experiences as opposed to stuff.
Yep.
I said I just got, like the last episode, I just got back from Legoland. I just got back as in almost, in October. But that's what I like doing. So I like doing that. And I told them that. And she was like almost like offended by this. Like, how dare you don't like, or like, I think they gave me, like, they'd periodically give me stuff. And I'm like, okay, great, thanks. And in my mind, if somebody gives you something, here you go. That's yours. It's you can do whatever
you want with it.
If you want to eat it or shove it up your butt or put it outside or
It's the family show, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. It's really not.
Yeah. If your kids listen to this, it's okay. It's just
thank you.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, don't put things in your butt.
Yeah, don't.
Anyway,
but if you want to, I guess we're
not judging.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge. But if somebody gives you something. Yeah, go ahead.
Nope.
No, what is it?
No, I am not allowed to say that. Nope.
Yeah, you are.
Nope.
You have to now. That's the deal.
So somebody gave you something.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
I'll tell you off camera.
Yeah, no.
See?
Crap.
This guy.
Oh, this guy. This is what we do. This is what we do.
So they gave you something, I guess.
Yeah. So you give me something, and thanks. That's great. But I'm like, what? I just. So I was torn between going, no, I don't want your crap, and thanks, and then I would sell it. And oh my God, she would get so annoyed. She would get so pissed off. She would just like,
it's yours now.
Yeah, and I'm like, she's like, I gave you something, you sold it, and you used the money to go on a cruise, and I'm like, I know a lot of people that would be just ecstatic for that.
Yeah, I would agree. I would do it
because that way, well, guess what? I don't. If I had something, if you say you wanted to go somewhere on a cruise or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I think Dave's really going to want to do that. And I knew this was coming up. And I was like, well, I want to give him some money, but I don't have any money. But I have this. And you're like, hey, tell you what, here you go. You want that? Do what you want. You sell it. Cool. Get you some bucks, get you some money, and have a good, fun time and experience.
And then I could say, my friend Johnny helped me go on a cruise, which I do want to do.
You got to do it. It's awesome. Well, it's incredible.
After watching that thing, you see that cruise ship deal where they got to get rescued by a chopper?
No, because I don't watch the news.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry. Whatever. Don't let that happen. I actually went on a cruise. I booked one of my cruises shortly after was the Concordia cruise. Mm-hmm. That dude in Italy docked that, tipped it over.
Yeah.
And I was I was on the phone with the lady going, hey, cruise ship. I was trying to work this angle, like, hey, cruise ships, shit happens and they crash, this and that, and she was having any part of it. She's like, nope. I was trying to work a discount or get some kind of love or
It's almost like walking into an airport and saying and screaming bomb really loudly.
No, I'm not trying to get arrested, my ass kicked.
Anyway,
I was trying to actually just get a discount or a little bit of a little something, right? I was like, hey,
wait a minute.
I said, tell you what, I want a little discount.
Something.
Little. That's a noise from the car business that if those you out there know exactly what it is. It's awesome. But my wife hates that. She can't stand it, and it's utterly hilarious. I think it's funny. I don't know. I'm the funniest guy I know, so.
Something.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted a little bit of.
I understand.
I just wanted a little bit of help. I don't know how I'm talking about anyhow.
Anyway,
going to cruise.
So somebody gave you something. And
somebody gave me something, and then got
like
mad because I did. It was mine. I did whatever I want with it. So whatever. So that's how I kind of dealt with that and coped with that. I'm glad I got to talk about it. And I'm glad I had that family friend out there. That's the more I talk about it, the more I think about it. I think that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
That was there, because without that, I would have had nothing, like zero.
I can't say that.
I didn't even get a card, a phone call, like a text message, nothing. My mom's old business partner messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Her. And she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, well, let me see. My dad died. My dog died. I'm unemployed. It's freaking
this
great.
Sounds like a bad country song,
right? Maybe that's it. Maybe
I don't do that. Man.
Maybe that's the ticket. I can't
sex,
sing.
drugs, and rock and roll.
I can't sing for shit. But I tell you what, I sure can talk. That's why this is the Tell You What podcast.
That's right.
Tell you what.
I can't say that I've had a recent loss where I've been sad other than like person wise. You know, we had the dog who I felt and everybody in my family felt was a member of the family.
Yeah.
But the last death I remotely felt sad about maybe was Grandma Charlene. She was my stepdad's mom. You know, after my parents got divorced, or my mom and my stepdad anyway, I can't necessarily remember how things kind of happened. I know, like, I still keep in touch with Uncle Joe, Uncle Chuck. I still think about some of the cool shit that, you know, Grandma Charlene taught me. And I remember being really sad when Grandpa Bill died. But I can't say recently, person-wise, that I felt sad about any of it. And maybe that makes me sound like a jerk, but I have an interesting relationship with, I don't know if I would even want to call it interesting. I'm just doing my own thing. I get a lot of support from my brother and his wife, and I don't feel like the remaining part of my family is very supportive, and maybe that's their own choice. But I choose to step back. You know, there's been some things.
Supportive of what?
I don't like
you're not doing.
They don't want to be in the. It seems to me that they,
you're married, have kids, and have a job. You're just
what I mean is not my wife and my kids. My wife is awesome. She's my best friend.
I get that. We're talking about, you know, outside of the.
Okay, so outside of that, I feel like no one really cares about having a relationship with, say, my children. Meaning,
that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just how I feel. I feel like maybe it's not that bad to try to travel. I feel like in the past I've traveled and I've went and done things so people could be a part of my kids' lives in the past. Now, in the last few years, I'm guilty of not doing that because I don't know. I've moved up out of state and back. But before then, like. I'm still in the same general area. My family lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. My brother and his wife's family just moved up here, actually, from the Bay Area. You know, we hang out a bit more than we have in the past, but at the same time, I kind of am my own person. I enjoy spending time with my wife and my kids and stuff, and I've never really went out of my way to do that. It's not because I don't want to. I just choose to live on my own. And do that kind of thing. But I would expect that some people would want to have a relationship with their grandchildren or nieces and nephews or aunts and uncles and all of that. And for the most part of my family's doing that and the other part isn't. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But if somebody were to die today, I wouldn't know what to do. And that's probably an answer that some people aren't going to like, but it's the truth, and that's what you're going to get.
Just because you don't like the answer doesn't mean it's not the answer.
Correct. And it took me a long time to understand that, and I always felt bad for maybe not feeling or whatever, or maybe feeling too much or something, but that's the thing. And it took me to realize that if I don't like the answer, that doesn't change the answer. Right. That's the answer. I feel like that's what I need to do.
You'd be surprised how many people don't like that.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't like that. You should go to my job. Oh, man. Let me tell you. But yeah, with loss and stuff, I would say the way that I can relate at all is with a dog. You know, that guy, I know it's a dog, and some people are like, oh, it's a dog. But the dog meant a lot to our family. The littles, you know, they were 5 and 6 at the time. So maybe it doesn't affect them the way that it affects us as adults, you know. But I was, and still am. I'm broken up about it.
And surprisingly interesting, my 5-year-old, she just accepted. Okay, well, Grandpa's. She was sad, you know. Mm-hmm. She called him Grandpa Yellow Belly for whatever, because he called her Jelly Belly because she liked jelly beans. Okay. And she couldn't say that at the time, so she called him Yellow Belly, which is kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And she just, you know, she cried for like a few days or that week or whatever, but then just, you know, because there's pictures of him and her on the wall and everything, and there still is. and she's just accepting, hey, he's gone to heaven, and we're not like religious folks by any means. I haven't really taken him to church much, or if at all, maybe I don't know. Actually, not at all. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I haven't. But her acceptance, or hey, he's gone somewhere better, different, whatever, and I'm not going to see him anymore. And she's just like, okay. And then the little one, she was almost 2. She was born in December, so this happened in like September.
Sure.
So she was 1, so she didn't really have much recollection to start with. So that wasn't overly hard for her. But she took to Grandpa just like almost instantly, because my daughter looks like me and I look like my dad. So it's like all three of this peas in a pod. So she just kind of went, oh, he's okay, like instantly.
Got it.
Right.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just touching back, I'm glad I had a family friend there, and it was weird. That's how I dealt with it, and kind of interested with you guys out there. How have you dealt with this? How have you had this? Chime in the comments.
Leave a message.
Send us an email. Whatever.
Which is another thing I'd like to touch on just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys have any email suggestions or have a story to share, I'm kind of I'm coming up with a viewer spotlight kind of thing where we read a couple letters or do that, and maybe we can talk about them also and have a conversation through YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea. So if you guys have any kind of email suggestions on how to deal with loss or how to deal with anything or anything at all, comment, whatever, leave a comment, send an email, go to our website.
Thank you again profusely for doing that and being out there and listening to us and watching us.
Yeah.
And so touching back real quick before I go, just my wife was there, of course, for me, but it's just kind of like, are you are you okay? Because she knew our relationship wasn't like the best or the tightest, and then her relationship with her own father, who's still around, is okay, sort of thing. But so for those of you curious or asking, like, well, what about your wife? Well, she's awesome. She was incredible. She was there,
Jenny
but
wins.
as much as we went out like the day after. I was going to just go to work, and she's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you're a little rattled and shaken up. Just call in. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So she actually did, and so I spent the day with her. That was good, and she was there. Just she would actually like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's
cool.
Like I said, I was just sad. My dad listened to because he was born in '45, so he was, he went to high school in the early 60s, so he listened to 50s music. So that's just what I was doing, was listening to like 50s music, rocking out and doing my boxes and packing my stuff up for a business and everything, and that kind of helped me cope. And I went on a couple of drives, and they opened up this new road here, the Southeast Connector it's called. There's a nice cool cruise, like 45 miles an hour, and that was good. That was good for me. So that's what I've done. Again, touching back, let us know what you've done,
please.
And y'all have been awesome. Thank you for listening. We're going to touch on a couple more things. We're going to lighten it up a little bit next couple episodes, talk about the car, talk about some of the fun stuff we've done. So thank you for listening to me and helping, and that's awesome. Thank you, too.
Thank you. Check out tellyouwhatpodcast.com. Check out our Facebook page. There's direct links on our website for that. Like, subscribe, share.
Tell your friends.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.